What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. We are here. I believe this is part 12 now, so we're making some pretty good progress. What we're going to do now is we're going to head up here, and it is finally time to tackle Stormveil Castle, which is right here. It is a massive area. My goal is to get through the whole thing in one episode, so this might end up being a bit of a longer episode. This, as I said, is it's an incomprehensibly massive area. I mean, to this point, if we're talking about all of, Soulsborne, From Software, whatever, I think this is the largest level to date. It could be. It's definitely the largest castle level. So you're thinking of other castle levels. You got Anor Londo, you've got Drangleic Castle, Lothric Castle, Cainhurst Castle. I mean, you name it. This is easily the biggest castle level, I think, to date, and it's actually, in my opinion, it's not even close. So it's kind of a microcosm of the main map. Like the main map, like as you go through the game, it just keeps going on and on and on. You keep finding new areas. I feel like this castle is sort of like that, where you keep finding new areas and finding new secrets, and it just kind of unravels, and it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna make sure that I've leveled up if I can. Okay, yes, I can level up, I think, twice. So I'm gonna dump 2 levels into vigor here. So we are about to fight the first main story boss. And so I'm going to consider this, yes, a story path episode. So this is obviously part of the main story path. We're following the guidance of grace, I think is whatever it's called. These little path icons here, and this is the first main level that you have to go through. So we're about to fight Margit, who is a very difficult boss. You can summon help here. I don't recommend summoning NPCs always, because when you summon an NPC, it actually increases the boss's health pool. And some summons do really well in the fight, others not so much. However, we are going to be using our spirit summons, which do not increase the boss's health pool, but they also do something very similar in that they distract some of the aggro off of us and allow us to get some good clean hits in. So what I'm going to do is, if you remember when we visited our friend Patches, we actually picked up a very important item that I'm going to equip. It is Margit's Shackle. So the way that this works is you can stun him up to 2 times during the fight. The only caveat is that those 2 times have to be during his first phase. So he enters his second phase when he gets about halfway down his life bar. And once he enters his second phase, this shackle is not going to work anymore, even if you've yet to use it in the fight. So if you can use it up to 2 times, but those 2 times must be in the first phase. You'll know you're in the second phase because he's going to pull out this giant, like, golden hammer. Margit is a very, very tough boss. Don't be surprised if he takes you several tries. In my first playthrough, Margit did take me several tries. Granted, I'm way stronger in this character than I was. I think I was a solid 10 or 11 levels lower when I fought him in my first playthrough. I did not have the equipment that I have now. So we're in much better shape. So what I would recommend is, before you walk in, go ahead and pop your physic flask. We're about to watch a cutscene, but I think it should carry over into the fight. We'll see. But yes, this is a very tough fight. So brace yourself.
In search of the Elden Ring, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
Okay, so right at the start, we're going to summon our wolves. The thing that makes this fight so hard is that he has a lot of rangy attacks that hit really hard, and the timing of them can be very delayed. So what I mean is that, like, his windups are very hard to predict and dodge through. Sometimes you'll dodge, and it won't be enough time to to actually get away from his attack. Or you'll dodge and you'll dodge too early, and then his attack will hit you. So doing some charged heavies, I've used the Shackle once, and so he just entered his second phase, so the Shackle's not gonna work anymore. But doing charged heavies on him and specials, oh my goodness, it's just shredding him. Oh my gosh, getting stuns really easy. Oh my gosh. That just shredded him. Okay, that just shredded him. That went way, way, way faster. Normally, I like to showcase the boss's moveset. I didn't even have a chance to do it there because I was accustomed to my first fight with him the first time that I fought him, and it being a pretty decent fight. Even in subsequent playthroughs, I mean, I wasn't this powerful when I fought him. And normally, honestly, I don't use the Shackle. So I think that probably made the big difference is I don't normally use the Shackle against him. But that just shows you, summon your wolves, use the Shackle. Charged heavy attacks are massive. In your Wondrous Physic, I would suggest including for one of your two the Strength Not Crystal tier, because that we were doing a lot of extra damage. I think 20% extra damage with that. And you saw with that build, we just completely shredded him. And I feel really bad because normally for a walkthrough, I like to showcase the boss's moveset. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to link my first playthrough where I did get the kill, and that will give you a much better, if you really want to see his moves, that'll give you a much better idea of what his moves are, because I was not nearly this powerful the first time I fought him. And I feel terrible because I really do enjoy showcasing the boss's movesets to help you learn him. But with the Spirit Summons, the Shackle, the Charged Heavies, the Bloodhound's Finesse, I mean, just completely shredded his HP bar. So didn't really even get the chance to show you guys what his moves were. So again, I apologize for that. But anyway, so we get this Site of Grace. One thing that we don't want to overlook is we got another talisman pouch. So that means we can equip another talisman. We have 2 of them now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually put the Assassin's Crimson Dagger on. What this will do is anytime you get a critical hit, whether that be a backstab or whether you get a stagger and then do a front side riposte, what it will do is it will recover a not insignificant chunk of your HP. So, let's see. One thing that okay, so I don't know why they put 2 Sites of Grace so close to each other. But now that I think of it, one thing that I want to do is there's actually a couple items outside the castle in Limgrave that I forgot to pick up that I need to grab real quick. So we're going to grab those right here before we continue on with the castle. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to pass the time until morning because I don't like nighttime. I mean, it's not that there's no nighttime bosses or enemies that we're going to face in this castle. But one thing is that it is darker and harder to see at nighttime. So in general, when it comes to exploring and things like that, I like to explore in daytime. But so I'm going to fast forward it today, and then we're going to go here to Stormveil Shack. And what we're going to do is there's a cookbook and an Ash of War that I want to pick up that I should have done before the castle. But you see right here, there's this NPC. At the end of that bridge right there is where we need to go for the stuff that I want to grab. So we're going to pick that up real quick. I apologize for the detour. But this is going to be some extra time to kind of explain how things are working. So again, as I mentioned when we did the Castle Morn episode, because if you remember on the map, there are the guidances of grace that point you towards that. So I defined Castle Morn as a story mission because you can see, you know, the guidance of graces are pointing you there. So anytime on the map where you see the guidances of grace pointing you some direction, I'm going to consider that a quote unquote story path. And what I'm doing is I'm going to create a separate playlist of all of the episodes that focus on those story paths, because I know that some of you might really just want to hone in and focus on those story type events as opposed to watching the entire walkthrough that goes through every side area and things like that that aren't really, and many of which aren't really relevant to the main story. So that way, those of you who want to focus on the story can do that and have a playlist dedicated for that. And the way that I'm going to denote what is a story episode versus not is the story episodes are going to have a red border on them. So just keep note of that as we go forward with the walkthrough.
Read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers. Oh, bless you. Head to the fount Traverse, Rea Lucaria, glints and reunites the half crescents. Oh, but the only. Why Stormveil cut?
Okay, so she kind of like those ladies that pop all, around the world, and they kind of give you little hints. They're kind of like little fortune tellers almost. She alluded to the next area that we're going to visit, Rea Lucaria, and then there is a deal where she's talking about two halves of a medallion, and we'll get all that later. So here we have the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 7, and down here there's going to be a scarab that has an Ash of War that we're going to grab. And then after this slight little detour, we're going to head back to Stormveil Castle. Oh, come on. There we go. The storm wall, got that. So we're going to warp right on back here. The Stormveil main gate. Okay, so here we are. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. I apologize for slight little detour we had there.
Come over here.
So here we have Gostok. He is an NPC that does have a quest line, although some people just like to kill him, get it over with, but
You're tarnished, aren't you? I would advise against taking the main gate. It's tightly guarded by hardened old hands. Oh, try the opening right here. The guards, you'll breach the castle undetected.
okay, I'm going to say I'm going to use the main gate just so he'll open it and we have access to that as well. I'm going to explain it in just a minute.
You certainly don't have to trust me. Well, if you must go through the gates, I'll signal them to open. But
Okay, so some people like to kill him here because if you kill him, he is a merchant. And some people like to kill him because you get his bell bearing, and then you can take that back to the maidens at Round Table Hold, and then they'll sell all of his stuff anyways. We're going to use him as a merchant a little bit later on in this level. He doesn't turn into a merchant yet, but he does have a quest line, so we're going to follow that in this playthrough. So I will not be killing him, but just know that you can kill him, get his bell bearings, and get his merchant stuff, and that's you will be missing out on some slight stuff. So going up the main gate, there are tons of people here with like these massive ballistas, and they're going to be shooting a barrage of arrows at you. You can definitely get through it. It is tough and ill-advised. We are going to be getting through this area anyways, because when you go through the side path, that takes you to the front of the castle, and then eventually the pathways, the paths, they link together, and we're going to be getting all this stuff. So, we're going to be going down this way too, eventually. So you see the barrage of arrows. You'd have to make your way through that all the way up in order to go this way. I'm just getting these 3 items real quick, and then I'm heading on out of here. But as I said, these paths do converge, and if you want to get the bulk of the loot, you're gonna have to take the main path through Stormveil Castle. And there is a lot, just a ton of loot in this level. So I'll be taking you through the whole thing. As I said, my goal is to get through this whole castle in 1 episode. So this might be a bit of a long episode because this level is utterly massive. So you can drop down right here. Actually, hold up. There's actually a side path that I need to get first before we go through the bulk of the level. So if you, right here at the site of Grace, you can turn right here. There's an item right here for calling finger remedy. Then you can drop down here on like this scaffolding. I'm going to throw my lantern on. I suggest you do the same, just for some extra light. Get some fire grease. And then... So where I was just before then was up there. And then I remembered, like, oh, wait, there's this little side area that you can get to. So I wanted to make sure that I covered that and didn't just blow past it. So then what you do now is you can just go around the side here. And then this takes you back to the main gate. So definitely did not want to pass that up. Yeah, so this episode might be an hour and a half, 2 hours. Who knows? It's going to be a long one. But it's going to be a lot of fun. This level is a masterclass in level design. I mean, it is such a well-designed level. It is classic Soulsborne, but like amped up to the nth degree. As I said, it's much bigger than most of the Soulsborne levels. But it is so intricately designed. It is a treat. So you could drop down to the other side, but it's a further down drop. You're going to take some damage if you drop to that side. And this side takes you to a side of grace as well. So if we end up dying, we're going to respawn right here. And this is our intro to the most annoying enemies of this level. These hawks, storm hawks, I think they're called. But they have blades on their feet. And they try to hit you with those blades on their feet. And they do an enormous amount of damage. An unreasonable amount of damage. And there's a ton of them in this level, so get used to fighting them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drop down here. Got more of these giant hawks. And you know, I was telling you how awkward it is fighting those bats because they're aerial. In my opinion, these things are more awkward to fight. But they do drop Stormhawk's feathers, which are decent. If you go this way, we're going to get to that little chasm we were looking across. That other side, remember that side path, that secret side path I showed you just a minute ago? That's the other side of it. So we made our way across, and here you get some bolts. And then around here, we're going to get to see some more hawks, but also some more loot. And do not underestimate these hawks. I mean, they are super lethal. And that one ambushed us, but at least we got the easy kill on the other one. So that attack where they stick their kind of swords in the ground, that's actually the easiest attack of theirs to punish, because if you dodge it, they get stuck in the ground for a second and they're open to getting hit. My general philosophy for fighting these things is I jump attack. So we got a Smithing Stone 3. I think that's our first one that we found so far in this playthrough. But yes, my general philosophy for fighting these Stormhawks, or whatever they're called, is to jump attack. So now we're back at our side of grace. We made the full loop. I'm actually just going to rest up just to top off my HP. I can get some levels. I'm going to put this one into stamina. I'm going to start leveling up strength as well. Because there are going to be some weapons that I want to use that require a bit more strength. And of course, we're going to be putting some into dex. And at some point, I'm going to start putting some more into mind just to get some more FP. That'll allow us to do some more of our... to use our weapon art more frequently without having to refill our FP bar. And we have plenty of runes. So I'm going to need 3,000, I think. Let me check my status here. So I need another 1,000. So I think if I use 5 of the tier 1s, that'll give me my 1,000. I think. There we go. Okay, put this into endurance. And there are soft caps in the leveling. I believe the first soft cap for vigor is at level 40. So you can get a ton of HP before we even run into those soft caps. So we're definitely gonna be taking our vigor that high. We're gonna get there eventually. So up here, there's a guy. He's gonna blow a horn if he sees you. So I'm just gonna shoot him from afar, so he can't alert everyone to our presence. Got the marred leather shield. And as I said, I think these enemies are actually slightly harder than the ones at Castle Morn, which again is why we did Castle Morn first. I feel like Castle Morn's a pretty decent warm-up. That guy threw fire bombs at me from above. That was awesome. Castle Morn's a pretty decent warm-up for this level. But I think this level is a bit more difficult. So back here, there's going to be an enemy with an axe. If you're sneaky, you can get a backstab on him. If you don't get the backstab, it really isn't the end of the world because he's not... Oh, he just saw me. The way I like to handle these guys is jump attacks. Because they stagger pretty easy. You see 2 jump attacks. I could have done 1 jump attack and 1 R1, and that would have been fine. Over here, you get the hook claws. If you want to go full Wolverine build, these are your weapon. You can dual wield them. Like basically, if you two-hand it as a weapon, then it functions as a dual wield, and you basically have Wolverine claws. So these red barrels with the white slash through them, these are explosive, and these guys are going to throw fire bombs at you. So I'd run up just barely to trigger a fire bomb, let them hit the barrels and explode them, and then proceed. Because this functionally is a trap. You can alternatively, you can roll through the barrels. If you roll through them, you're going to break them and then they won't explode. But yeah, just be wary because you don't want to get caught in a blowing up barrel trap. So I'm going to roll through these. Got some daggers. This door is locked. We're going to come back to it in a bit. Okay, so you see ahead of us, there's a guy right there. That's actually a trap. He's going to throw stuff at us, so... Get him. Get this item, and see who's going to explode these barrels on us. That piece of crap. So there's actually a little hidden side path over here. You can drop down, take this guy out. More fire bombs. Okay, climb up this ladder. I think a guy's gonna try to come down on top of us. So you can hit R1 and punch above you, and he falls off. Alternatively, if there's one chasing you and I kick down, you can press R2 and kick down. So I'll kick down. Oh, he actually knocked me off. That sucks. All right, he must die. So down there, that's where we just were. We came up the castle on that pathway, so... Just to kind of help you make the sort of visual connection there. Okay, so around here... Kind of an extra little path. You can drop down and get that item, but then this guy's going to be throwing fire bombs at you, so just be wary of that. So we are going to drop down. And now we're just going to we're going to go back to where we were before, but instead of taking kind of the hidden path through the wall, we're going to just go straight. We already killed that guy, and then it's going to loop us back around to where we just were. So that's where we came back in. There's an item up there. We're going to be getting that a little bit later. Not too much later. Okay, so this door... There's a guy up there. Don't get caught off guard by him. This door is actually a trap. So the reason why some people like to kill Gostock is because he's actually a little bit shady. So when we open this door, we're going to hear someone laughing. That's actually Gostock because he locks us in a door with a fairly powerful enemy. I'm going to use Bloodhound's Finesse on him. I'm actually going to pop my Wondrous Physic Flask for this just to make sure that I do win. He's not that hard of an enemy, but he is harder than the enemies we've been fighting in here. And, you know, Gostock actually, if you die, he, like, siphons off a portion of your runes. Just keep that in mind as well. So that's another reason why people like to kill him, is because it keeps him from siphoning off your runes. But he is part of a quest line, and there is an item that you will miss at the end of the game if you do kill him. Not that big of a deal, but since this is the walkthrough, thought I'd let you guys know. So Gostock, yeah, he locks us in here, and he laughs. He laughs at us. So we got this guy. Very powerful. I like to do Bloodhound's Finesse on him, and you see that pretty much took care of his health. And then, yeah, a couple R1s and he's gone. And there's a couple more of those in this level, but this is meant to startle you because if you don't have your lantern equipped, this is supposed to be a dark room and you're supposed to be in here without a light source, not really knowing what's going on, and then getting attacked by that thing and you're supposed to die. So, again, why I like having the lantern equipped. We just got the rusty key that opens that door that was locked that I pointed out before, and the curved sword talisman. Fairly cool talisman. The curved sword talisman enhances your guard counters. But at this point in the game, I do still use guard counters, but I only use them against the weaker enemies that I'm going to kill in 1 or 2 hits anyways. I generally don't use guard counters against stronger enemies because stronger enemies are able to kind of poise through your guard counters, and it's not as effective on, in my opinion, not as effective at stronger enemies as it is on weaker enemies. So for those of you who played the network test, you know this ladder. This is the ladder where the network test ended, and it said goodbye. You have to wait for the full game to come out before you can proceed. But since we have the full game, we are free to move forward as we choose. Watch out for this guy. Little ambush. He just kind of swipes you with his hand. Nothing too horrible. Let's see. So this leads us to the next area. I'm actually going to go back this way real quick. And we're going to pick this up. Fire grease. Oh, man. I totally was not paying attention to that gap in the floor. That's okay. We're just going to go right back on up. So, yeah, there are a lot of side paths, a lot of secrets in this castle. I found many of them on my first playthrough. Then there's a few that I did not come across. But it makes exploration in this level a real joy. There's so much to uncover in this level, and it's got that classic kind of From Software design where the level kind of folds on top of itself, and you get to a certain spot and then you unlock shortcuts and things like that. Things that I really enjoy about these games is really represented well in these levels. So you can take a look at the world and see if you recognize anywhere familiar. That is, believe it or not, a place that we've been. You take a look. I don't know if you can recognize it, but that's actually the area where you start the game and fight the Grafted Scion. So pretty cool how the world is connected like that. Let's see. Pick that item up. Let's see, and then you can't jump across there. So we're gonna go back over here. Go upstairs. And there are some pretty tough enemies coming up, so just be on guard. Don't sleepwalk through here. So before we fight that guy, see where these thorns are? We're actually going to drop down over here, and it takes us to the other side of that gap that we saw earlier. And then we can drop down right here. We get some Arteria leaves. So this guy, Bloodhound's Finesse, is your friend. And again, I have that talisman equipped that gives me health back every time I do a critical, so I'm going to you see my health just recovered. There's an elevator shaft right there. That's going to come into play a bit later. And we're going to go up these stairs here. Across the way, there's an item. Drawstring fire grease. there's a guy sniping us from over here. Whoop, just jump over him. And there's some throwing knives, or throwing daggers, I should say. Jump back over. And actually, before we go all the way to the top, I should, over here, unlock this side of grace. So we're going to be warping back here a few times because there's some kind of side pathing that we're going to do. So this is the path forward. You see these hawks over here. We're actually going to take that way down. There's another kind of shortcut off to the, not a shortcut, but a secret path off to the side that we're going to get in just a bit. But before we do that, we're going to do some rooftop parkour adventures. Which starts over here, is how you get to the rooftops. So around here, you're going to get to an area that's outside. I recommend when you go through this door to crouch and kind of hug this platform because there's an enemy on top with a horn. As soon as he sees you, he's going to blow the horn and alert all the enemies around you. Alternatively, you can sneak up behind him and get a backstab. And the other enemies that he calls forth are actually asleep. So instead of fighting them when they're awake, you can just kill them while they're asleep. And it's much easier than him alerting everybody to your presence and then you having to fight like 6 or 7 guys at the same time. Work smarter, not harder, as they say. Is there one more around the corner? No. Okay. So what we need to do now is there's some items up here kind of on the roofs. There are multiple ways to go about kind of getting started on the path. I think the easiest way and most reliable way is see this little wall that's ahead of us and see how we're lined up where it's straight across. So you can run and jump across. That's the easiest way, in my opinion, to get up here. Where we're going now is you want to go this way, and then we're going to jump across over here. Because there is an item over here where the only way to get it is to drop down up from this kind of rooftop-ish area. So jump over that wall, then drop on down here. Then you get the stone sword key. And then we're going to get some other items on the rooftops. The only way to get to this spot is by doing what we just did. But then there's a bunch of other items that we want to make sure that we get to. So if you drop down, there's another one of our hawk friends, and he got away from me. See, look, that one hit, man, did easily... Oh, I just popped my flask of physic. More than a third of my health. I'm going to take off the Margit Shackle because there is no use for this anymore. Got a gesture. Over here, you can go up there. We're going to go up there in just a second. But first, you can make this jump kind of on top of here. Then you want to jump on this little ledge. And run around the corner. Smithing stone 2. Got 2 of them. And now is the time where we jump up on there. So there's kind of a... That's an area that we're going to get to much later. That kind of is towards the end of the level. You know, you could drop down there and get to the boss much quicker than we're going to. But as I said, I'm going to show you how to get just about everything. Okay, so around here you get the ladder. Oh, there's an enemy I missed. I gotta get him. So climb all the way to the top. There's gonna be a bunch of birds up here. If you're quick, you can kill a bunch of them and pick up some crafting materials. Oh, I totally whiffed. That was funny. We got the Cloud Talisman. You can also jump to this side of the roof and I got 2 of them. How about that? Got some flight pinions. So, Claw Talisman enhances jump attacks, which is, as much as we do jump attacks, not a bad rune. If I had a 3rd rune slot, I'd probably equip that one, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, we can drop back down. And really, as I said, I wanted to explore that area up there. The only way to get back up there from here is to warp. But however, since we got that rusted key and went through that locked door, you know, the rusted key is the key that we got in that room that Gostock locked us in. After you do that event, that's when Gostock becomes a merchant. So I'm going to go back to Gostock. All right, so here we are back towards the front. And as I said, Gostock should be a merchant now.
Oh, hello. I've come in. Only it turns perhaps you'd like to.
Sure. So what I'm after now is the buckler. So the buckler counts as a small shield. And what it does, it is very good for parrying. The buckler is the best shield in the game for parrying because it has the most generous parry window. There are enemies in this game that I do parry, and whenever I have a parry-focused kind of strategy for fighting an enemy, I will always use the buckler. It is, in my opinion, by far the best weapon for, or the best shield for parries. And so, speaking of which, the next place we're going to go is features an enemy that I do frequently parry, known as Crucible Knights. They are very difficult enemies, and honestly, the most surefire way I know of killing them is by parrying them. And as I said, the best way to parry them is with the buckler. So I'm going to try to show you how I go about fighting them. There's also a way that you can cheese them. If you don't quite want to learn how to do the parries yet, it will take you a few tries to get the timing down. You'll see that these hawks, they are sitting on explosive barrels. We have fire arrows. So fire arrow plus explosive barrel, go boom. And so normally that hawk would try to fly at us and throw the explosive barrel at us and try to blow us up. But instead, we blow him up. And it is glorious. There's kind of a secret one off to the side that tries to ambush you. You can get the angle on it. Ah, I missed it. So this is what normally happens. And I didn't even get out of the way quickly enough. That's kind of embarrassing. Oh well. So I'm going to wait for him to come over here. Wait for him to do a move that I can punish. Oh, these guys are so... There we go. Wait till he sticks his swords in the ground, and then you can do a jump attack. So secret area. You can jump over here over this ledge and just shimmy off the edge, and you'll fall down. You shouldn't take damage from that fall, but this is an area that is oft overlooked. So from here, you can drop down further over onto this ledge. Then right here, you can pick up this item. The Marred Wooden Shield. Then you need to drop down here. Drop down here. And then there's another spot. So this is going to break. There's no way this has, if you go this path, this will happen to you no matter what you do. Don't worry, it's not as bad as it seems. You fall into these bushes, and the bushes break your fall. And there's a scarab here you can bust open. Or Storm Assault. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replenish my health. And over here is our friendly neighborhood Crucible Knight. So as I said, I'm going to equip my buckler. I'm going to show you how to cheese him because he is very strong, and honestly, don't feel bad if you struggle to kill him at this point. Because as I said, he is very strong, and these he has just, and he hits really hard, hits like a truck, and he has an absurd amount of poise. So you see, like, if you take him over this ledge, he's going to leash back. you can equip your bow. And this bow has Mighty Shot. So he turns his back to you. He takes his shield up. And then you can just use Mighty Shot to fire him to hit him for much more HP damage than you would be doing if you were hitting him with his shield up, or by much more damage than you would be doing if you just hit him with regular shots. So you can just lure him back over here. He's going to back away. As soon as he turns his back on you, do a Mighty Shot. And you see that does a pretty solid amount of damage to him. So I got 2 Mighty Shots off. You rinse and repeat, do this, a few times. You're going to be golden. I have an extra blue flask for FP regeneration. And so you do this a couple times, and you're gonna take him down pretty much in no time. So now I'm gonna show you the other way of fighting him. If you fight him head to head, I recommend parries, and the reason for that is because his attacks hit very hard. And it's hard to get an opening to hit him. It is really hard to find an opening to hit him because he has basically infinite poise. Like, he will not, your attacks will not push him back at all. Oh, he just did his phase change. When he gets about half HP, he does his phase change, which really he gains 2 extra moves when he does it. The rest of the fight's pretty much the same. So I'm going to show you how to parry him. And the phase change, what happens is he gets like these angel wings and he can fly. He does like a flying dash attack, and he gets this like ridiculous tail whip. But everything else is the same. So I'm going to show you how to fight him straight up. He has, well, I wanted to get to a spot where I could like have room to fight him, but he caught me at the corner. So he's going to have several attacks that you can parry. The one that I like the most, he'll pull his sword up to above his head. So this attack, you just want to dodge straight through. He'll pull it above his head to my left, and then he'll slash down to his right. That's the easiest attack to parry, in my opinion, and there's his tail whip. That's the one that I think is the easiest to parry. So as soon as he starts swinging his sword down, you can parry it, and then just kind of... That one's pretty easy to parry as well. And again, since I have the talisman equipped that gives me HP back every time I get a critical, that's pretty significant as well. Ooh, that was almost really bad. So again, roll through this attack when he does it. He has a shield bash attack that he does as well. Again, he did that overhead attack that I like to see a lot. And when he's getting back up, one more hit should take him down. But he hits, as I've shown you, he hits extremely hard. Oh, man. Oh, wow. He's got 1 HP left, and he's, like, fighting for his life, and he's putting up a pretty solid fight. Holy crap. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. That would have been so embarrassing if I had lost to him there. I had him down to 1 HP. So... We get aspects of the Crucible Horns, but that just goes to show you how difficult he is. He is not, he's no pushover. That is for dang sure. And so again, if you lose to him, you're just going to respawn up there. You can just run and jump down and get back to him. If you want to fight him, I mean, he's totally optional. There's nothing really forcing you to fight him. But I just wanted to show you how to beat him in case you wanted to. So there is the arrow cheese method, and then there's also the parry method as well. Actually, the boss right here that I marked, that I've said is really hard, that's actually a Crucible Knight fight. It's actually a Crucible Knight that's stronger than the one we just fought. And that's why I haven't fought him yet, because he's really difficult. It took me several tries to get him on my first playthrough. Now I fought them so much that I'm actually pretty good at fighting him, despite how poorly that attempt just went. But anyway, so this takes us back up here. I think there's an item back here that I did not pick up. So I'm going to... Oh, he killed me. Dang it. It's all good. We're going to respawn right outside this room anyway. There's an item that I missed that I want to swing around and get. Because I don't think I got it. I don't think I got it. I'm going to check my inventory. It's the brick hammer. I don't think I picked up the brick hammer. It's a strength weapon. Yeah, I did not pick up the brick hammer. So I'm going to go back and get it. And get my souls back. Or get my runes back, I should say. Not again, my friend. Not again. Yeah, he got me because I was in a severely weakened state and could not heal. It's like when you've been working on that pickle jar for a long time, getting it nice and loose, but you still can't quite open it. Then you hand it to your friend, and they open it in like 5 seconds because you loosened it up for him. Well, that's what happened with that guy. The Crucible Knight loosened me up, and then other guy just happened to finish the job. Okay, so the brick hammer is that one over. Is that pick up over there? And to get there, you just jump across this gap. Can't believe I missed this. When we were going through here originally. But no worries at all. Here we go. Got the brick hammer. All right, so we're going to go back here to the Rampart Tower. As I said, there is some more stuff across this way. What time of day is it? It's morning. Okay, perfect. So like we did last time, fire arrows. Definitely the way to go. Or really any fire projectile. If you have fire-based magic, that'll work. If you have a fire pot, that'll work. Gonna try to... There we go. There we go. I missed getting the sneak attack on him last time, and he threw his barrel at me. So there's an item over here. There's actually a trap over here, too. See a bunch of exploding barrels. This guy's going to come out and throw one at you. He, however, kind of gets, like, stuck back here. But once you bait him out, he's not that hard to kill. Get some smithing stone tier 2. Okay, so you see the item down there. You can drop down here, but if you drop down here, you're going to miss out on that item. I'm going to put my lantern back on. I'm just double checking. I don't think there's an item around here, but I'm just double checking. Yeah. So down here is where we want to go. Get this item. And then if you drop down that hole... It's going to take you right here. I showed you could drop down there before, but before we move forward, there's an NPC we want to talk to.
Ah, nice to meet you. The pleasure's mine. Roger is the name. A sorcerer, as you might have guessed. I'm looking for a little something here in the castle. When I'm not hot-footing it from the troops, that is. But enough about me. What are you doing here in Stormveil Castle? This place is bristling with tarnished hunters, you know. They sacrifice our kind for grafting. Not exactly a place I'd stroll into without a purpose in mind. I see. Here to challenge Godric and lay your hands upon a great rune, are you? You can see it then, I take it. The guidance of grace. Well, enjoy it while you can. I'm tarnished, like you. But unlike you, I've seen neither hide nor hair of this guidance for the longest time. Still, I won't forget how it felt when I first came here, to the lands between. I'm privy to a few magical battle arts. Would you care to learn one? As a fellow Tarnished, once guided by grace, I'd love to help you out, if it please.
Okay, so he's got some stuff for sale. They are Ashes of War, kind of magic-related Ashes of War. Not really interested in any of them, so I'm not going to buy any of them. But he will go back to Round Table Hold, where we can talk to him there. He has a little bit of a side quest, but nothing too intricate. All right, so we can go out here. There's a couple guys sleeping against the wall. Take them out. And there's another one of those knights, kind of like that the really strong knight that we were locked into the room with, that Gostock locked us in with. There's a ladder that takes you back up to the roof if you want to go back up there. So, yeah, here he's coming over here. I'm going to try to get his buddy with an arrow. There we go. So I'm going to dual wheel, or two-hand my weapon, rather. Do my weapon art, and takes care of him quickly. Don't let him get the edge. He's got some really strong attacks. Some of them are wind-based, and they have an AoE. And, of course, he hits really, really hard. So keep the pressure on, and as I said, the special with the Bloodhound's finesse, very good for that. But do not let him get the edge on you, because he will punish you. Okay, so down here, you see there's a Grafted Scion. That's the same thing as like the first boss that you fought like at the very, very, very beginning of the game. We're not going to fight him straight up. We're going to cheese him just because he is really tough, and yeah. The death at this point is not at all ideal. So yeah, we picked everything up over here that we can. There's not another path through here. Nice warm fireplace for us. Yeah, there's some items over there that we're going to get in just a bit. So here, there's stuff down there we're going to get in just a little bit. You can actually jump over there. We're going to do that in just a minute. Before we do that, I'm going to kill this knight. I'm going to let him kind of patrol around the table, and then we're going to sneak up on him and get a backstab. Or at least, I should say, attempt to get a backstab. I have been known to ruin backstabs. as I was saying. And much like the other guys, he has like the wind AoEs, but he also has big openings after his attacks, so take him out. I can't believe I screwed that up. Wow. As I was talking about me having the propensity to screw stuff like that up. Normally I do get the backstab on him, but... So in here you got the Mimic's Veil. This allows you to kind of imitate objects in the environment. And so this is a door that's locked. It's a shortcut we're going to open up in just a minute. Before we do that... Ah! So down here, there's a few guys. We're also going to fight the Grafted Scion. Get some Exalted Flesh. It's consumable, gives you a physical damage boost. So we're going to lock on, chill up here, and... arrows away, my friends. It's what I did in my first playthrough, and it's what I still do. So you can use a Mighty Shot as well for some extra oomph. As long as it doesn't dodge the attack. A spin attack. Quite lethal. Oh, snap. That's never happened to me before. That jump attack, he just jumped straight through the floor. That was wonderful. So he's cornered himself back in there. And, of course, I'm hitting the stairs, which is, you know, the ideal way to fight him. I'm going to charge up my flask, get my Mighty Shots back. The Spinneroonie. Alright, I'm going to finish him off with regular attack here. I'm just going to... Death from above. So he does not respawn. Thank God he does not respawn. Before we go down to the main level, we're actually going to do a little loop-de-loop here. Can jump over the wall, kind of run up those sandbags. There's a guy here. pick up the gold pickled foul foot. Stare down into the abyss. And this is that spot where we fought that knight that I told you I was going to try to sneak up on and get a backstab, and I failed miserably. And there's a treasure chest there with the Mimic Veil. That's what we're looking into. You can actually drop down into there from here. But don't miss this. This is really easy to miss. There's this ladder that kind of blends in. There's nothing over there. You can have a look if you'd like, but there's nothing over there. And then you can drop down on this guy. And right here, we can unlock, you know, that door that said was a shortcut. We just unlocked that door. So this is where we just were before. That's where we fought the Grafted Scion. So we looked at this area from across the room. I was like, we're going to get to that spot later. Well, now is later. We're here. We got another stone sword key. And a pickled turtleneck. 3 of them, to be precise. So what we can do here, so I'm just going to jump over this rail. That's where we were earlier. We fought the Grafted Scion over here. As I said, he is not going to respawn. So Highland Axe. Decent axe weapon, if that is your thing. Stanching boluses prevent bleed buildup. So you can go out here. You look up there. That's actually a path we're going to get to a bit later. So this is a stone sword key door. Just so happens we just picked up a stone sword key. So we have plenty of stone sword keys. If you've been following all the stone sword keys I've been getting, you should have plenty to unlock this. There is a big old guy in here. You actually have to cancel out that message before you can attack. If you do not cancel out that message, like, oh, you unlocked it with a stone sword key, you can't attack. He dropped a Crescent Moon Axe. I think that's a random drop, though. Hawk Crest Wooden Shield. And the Iron Wet Blade. That's the important thing that we got. And I don't even know how to say that. I'm not going to attempt to say that because I'm going to say it wrong, and you guys are going to make fun of me. Let's see. So, so that actually is a good dagger. You see that it has the quick step ability. So we're actually going to be using this dagger in a couple spots, namely in poisonous swamp areas, and you'll see why. But out here, there's one more enemy and nothing else. But if you want to be thorough, you'll get him. You look down there. You cannot drop down there. You see there's a shiny, but you can't get down there yet. So that, what was it called? There we go. The Iron Wet Blade grants choice of affinity to upgrade weapons. This adds heavy, keen, or quality scaling if you are using a weapon that you can equip Ashes of War to and to change affinities. So your heavy scaling is going to be if you are going for pure strength build, dumping a bunch of points into strength. Keen scaling is going to be if you're going for a dex build, dumping a bunch of points into your dexterity. And then quality scaling will break the scaling up evenly between dexterity and strength. So if you're splitting your points between the two, which is more or less what we're doing with this build, that'll boost your your attack power up a bit. So through here, beware of dogs. Oops, I had the wrong flask equipped. So I'm going to do guard counters against these dogs, or just wait for them to try to attack and whiff, and then hit them. There we go. He actually interrupted me out of my guard counter, but that's okay. So in here, we have a golden rune, lump of flesh, and the Chrysalid's memento. So this is what Rodrika, she wanted us to get from the castle, and bring it back to her. So lastly, in this area, we have a shortcut. So this elevator is going to bring us back up to the site of grace that we've been warping back to. Nice little shortcut. And as I was saying before, the way that the level loops in on itself, pretty masterfully done. I love the way these levels are designed. Pretty amazing. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to warp back to Rodrika's shack. I will say, if you've already gone north, because you can actually follow this cliffside to go around here, and then you can bypass the castle and get to this area north of here, Liurnia of the Lakes. I believe if you've already gone north, Rodrika will have in your game will have already warped back to Round Table Hold, and she's not going to be back here for you to give this to her. So don't be alarmed if she's not there. If she's already gone to Round Table Hold, you're not really missing out on much. This is just kind of the, I guess, the quote-unquote intended way to go through her quest line, but you can skip steps, and it's not going to have any impact on the end game. You're still going to be able to do the same stuff with her that you'd be doing otherwise. But this is, I'm just showing you guys kind of the full progression of the quest line.
A pleasure to see you. Did you give the little chrysalids the message that I love them, and that despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough? What's this? A keepsake from my men. Oh, goodness me, I can't. They all believed in me. They all thought I'd make something of myself. Me, who can't do anything. I think I'll head to the Round Table Hold. Perhaps I'll find my purpose there. I think I'll head.
Okay, so she says she's going to head to the Round Table Hold. Some of you, the first time that you got to Round Table Hold, depending on what you may have done already in the map, she may have been there the first time you went there. And don't worry, like you didn't miss out on anything important. Really, just missed out on this side quest and dialogue. She's going to be able. She's actually has an important role in Round Table Hold. She's still going to be able to do all that if the first time you encountered her was in the Round Table Hold. But anyway, just show you that show that to you guys. Can I level up? I don't even know how many runes I have. I can level up. Okay. Gonna go for some more HP here. Level 38. Not bad at all. Okay, so we're going to warp right back to the Rampart Tower. We unlocked that shortcut, so we're going to use that to get back to where we were. All right, so right here back in Stormveil Castle. So we unlocked that elevator. So we're going to take that back down to where we just were. And we're going to tackle the remaining probably 1/3 or 1/4 of this dungeon. So as I said, a massive sprawling place, but a lot of fun. I really enjoy this level. It's so much fun. All right, so you can go up through this little tunnel here. Takes you up to the second floor. This little room. Kill that guy. Got some arrows over here. Okay, so in here, this is that field. I kind of panned the camera down because you're up above, and I showed you this area before. There are a bunch of dudes. However, what we're going to do first is we're going to just hug the wall, kind of go around, ignore them for now. We're going to go straight down here. Oh gosh, these rats. Arg. Look at that. I'm barely not killing him in one hit, so. Let's see here. So stone sword key door. Definitely going to use a key here. Because we have plenty of them. Got the Godslayer seal. And the Godskin prayer book. So this will allow us to get the Black Flame spell. It's actually a pretty solid spell. You need 20 faith to use it, which we don't have, but pretty good spell to get. I would highly recommend it for those of you who want to go more of the caster route. So there's a ladder up there we're going to get in just a little bit. So down here, this is the path. You see that? That's the front gate. Right there is the front gate. So this is the path. See all these guys manning these ballistas here? We can actually back attack them and neutralize the threat So I'm going to backstab them. You can't backstab them when they're actually standing at their ballistas. You kind of have to like go in front of them and be like, hey, I'm here, and then run back and backstab them. This guy already is aware of our presence. So watch, like you can't backstab him from right here. I've tried it many times and can't ever get it. You kind of have to go in front of him, alert him to your presence, and then run behind him and get the backstab. Or alternatively, you could just hit them and, you know, get them that way too. Smithing Stone 2. This guy coming for us. Do the old jump attack. Alternatively, you can do guard counters against these guys. And easily, I mean, this is probably, especially if you have the Crimson Dagger talisman equipped, where you're replenishing health for doing criticals. That's probably the best way to get through these guys, is to guard counter most of them, and then you're getting your health back like every single time you get a critical hit, which is pretty insane. Which is why I do quite enjoy that talisman. There are a bunch of guys down here. Before we take them on, we're going to run through here. Oops. Got some eager people. Whoop. He was too far back. Gonna get him the old-fashioned way. So in here we have Gold Rune, tier 5, a Site of Grace. And Commoner's Simple Garb. So down there, this is kind of like the entrance to Stormveil right there. You see this hole in the floor? That's where Gostock is. So we're like all the way back here at the beginning. And then this switch, if you didn't have Gostock open the gates free at the very beginning like we did, you can use this switch to open the gate yourself. And we're back to the main gate. So now that we took out those ballista crossbow people, this is much more manageable to get up. Still a lot of enemies. Definitely no walk in the park, but more manageable than it was before. Bunch of crossbow people. It's trying to kick me. Oh, jeez. And this is definitely not an area that you want to overlook entirely. This guy. So up there's actually going to be some more ballista people that we couldn't quite get to. You see that guy right there? There's one up there. And there's one behind a ballista that can shoot us if we go too much further up. We're going to get there in just a second. Over here is another Site of Grace and a really powerful enemy that we're not going to fight quite yet. We will fight him, but not now. See that giant wolf over there? We will get him, but I just don't want to get him right now. We're going to unlock this Site of Grace and we're going to come back because this spot is very important. We are going to come back. Do not rest at this Site of Grace because you will respawn all the enemies. Just unlock it so it is warpable. So now we can warp back here to the Limgrave Tower Bridge. We're definitely going to want to do that later. This guy, we're going to run right past again. Ah, shoot, why not? I'm going to fight him. I'm going to summon my wolves. They're going to help us out enormously. I'm going to use my Physic Flask. He counts as a mini-boss. I do not believe that he respawns. Let your wolves take the attention off of you. Bloodhounds finesse. So he hits really hard. He's kind of, in a way, just in terms of difficulty, he's about as difficult as some of the giant bears that we fought. Oops. So you see how hard he hits. Definitely not to be taken lightly. It's got 2 of my wolves down. Just knocked me out of the air there. Almost dead, though. There we go. So Somber, Smithing Stone, Beast Blood, and Old Fang. All right, so my wolves went back. So the reason why I went ahead and warped, or went ahead and fought him is because we're going to warp anyways back to the Rampart Tower, because once we drop down from that path to get the ballista guys, we can't get back up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to loop back to where we just were. We're going to get the other side. Where's the switch? There we go. So where we were is out this way. It's almost nighttime. It's okay. And I showed you that ladder before. That's what we're going to do next, is we're going to go up that ladder. Just got to run past the rats this time. Turn out here, you get a ladder that takes you up. And there's some loot up on this path. And some fairly tough enemies as well. This guy, you can backstab. We got some Festering Bloody Fingers. Those are used for invasions if you want to invade people. Oh, these guys are fast. And fighting the sword and spear version at the same time, whew, it's tough. Whoops. Luckily, they don't have an insane amount of poise, so you can hit them and then, you know, kind of stagger them a little bit. But they do have some poise, but just not an unreasonable amount. They're not like Crucible Knights where you can't even make them budge. Oh, those AoEs, man. Those AoEs are hefty. Let's see, he's got his armor. Got some gauntlets. So this bridge, make sure you run. Sprint across this bridge because there's a guy with a ballista that's going to try to shoot you off. And this is the next level up that we couldn't get to with the guys that we killed the first time. Over here, it's a ladder. The Nomadic Warriors Cookbook. 10. And this is that, you know, open field where we just were. You know, the stone sword key door that we went into is just over there. Run across this bridge. And there's a couple guys here. There's really no loot here, but you can fight these guys if you'd like. And as I said, there's no loot over here, but just show you that this place exists. It doesn't... Does it go back further? Yes, it does. Yeah, so this is that spot where we got an item, and then over there was a stone sword key door that we went in, the first stone sword key door that we went in. So what we're going to do now is that spot where the other guy with the ballista was, we're going to get him. So here's the bridge we ran across. You can actually, this pile of rubble, you can run up it and jump over the wall to get to the other side. I suggest getting out of range quickly so you cannot be hit by the guys. Crossbow. Carry this guy. There's another guy over here. Oh, come on. Okay. I'm gonna get the guy over here first. There's another guy across the way with he's throwing fire bombs. So over here we get the arbalest. I don't think we can jump back over this wall. So our only other option is to drop down here. And if we went down there, this would take us all the way back to the front gate. So we did that area before. That's the area where we fought the giant wolf thing. And so back this way, I showed you how I was going to show you... I told you how I was going to show you how this level all connects together. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these kind of wind projectiles that they fire are a bit annoying. So up here, we're going to get back to where we just were. Watch out for these guys that have the giant fire torches. There's another one up here. Kind of baited it. So what I like to do, there are a bunch of guys around here. So here's where we just were. Here's that giant room with the where we fought the Grafted Scion. I like to sneak around to the side. And normally I'm coming from the room where we fought the Grafted Scion, so I don't have this many people on me at once. But they kind of bottleneck themselves around where this barricade is, so it makes it much more manageable if you can get away after you've kind of aggroed everybody. Oops, he's got a combo. Now I'm going to be doing my guard counters to get my health back. Oh, I need to remember that he's got a combo that he can essentially poise through. Up here, got another enemy giant with the giant axe. But we get some fire arrows coming up here. Bunch of crossbow guys. There's a lot of loot as well. Get a backstab, get some health back. That guy manned the torch. Come on, get off so I can backstab you. There we go. Let him do 3 hits, then do my guard. Oh, he broke my guard. Dang it. Oh, he did it again. Dang it. There we go. So as you can see, lots of enemies around here. But also, lots of loot that we're going to pick up. Got the pike. magic grease. Another rune. This guy doing. I'm gonna do a guard counter on him. Oh, come on, dude. Had to throw the firebomb at me to more or less negate the health that I get back for killing him. Oh well, such is life. Got the wooden great shield up here. And there's a giant dude with his dog. I'm not in the best shape of the world. He is very tough. I'm going to go for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up my blue. I'm going to do some urgent heals here. But I do want to save some FP for Bloodhound's Finesse. I'm going to pop my Wondrous Physique Flask. And he has a dog with him, but he can actually hit his dog. All right, you cannot backstab him. But here we go. Perfect. And in here we get a painting. The Prophecy painting, which will lead us to an item in the world. So this is a statue that you can bust open. The only problem is you need a giant. At first I thought he was going to be able to do it for me, but he cannot bust it open. But we are going to find someone in just a second who can. Right, got some smithing stones. And here is another grace. And I'm not going to rest because I don't want all those enemies that we just killed to respawn. Because we're about to do something. So that door is locked. There's a shortcut. There's an elevator that you can take down to get down there in just a bit. So around here we got more birdies. There we go. Oh, that's right. He does. He throws the explosives at... Oh my gosh. Oh, these birds. Yeah, these ones do the explosives. After... Ah, dang it. These are the Sword Eagle 2.0 version. It's all good. All right, some more smithing stone tier 2. I think there's another eagle around here too. Yep, there he is. Arg, the bane of my existence in this level. Okay, it is dark, so it's hard to see, but there is a room over here that has an NPC who has a quest line.
You were a fine warrior. Your only mistake was your choice.
4 smithing stone ones.
Let the winds lift you to a higher place.
All right, this is Nefeli.
Well, who do we have here? Tarnished, are you? Clearly not one of Godric's lot. I am Nefeli Lu. Tarnished and warrior, like you. I'm here by decree of my father. How utterly repellent this is. This grafting of Godric's ill befits a lord. He's tainted the very winds. If you intend to challenge Godric, I ask you call upon me. The winds run foul with his deeds. I'm certain father would permit me aid the fight. Apologies, but I've idled long enough. As fellow Tarnished, we must each follow our own guidance. Down whatever road takes us to the throne of Elden Lord. Apologies, as fellow...
Okay, so you can actually summon her for the next boss fight. I will not be summoning her. You can call it part of her quest line, but it really doesn't have any bearing on how her quest line pays out if you summon her or not. Here we have a golden seed. Don't miss that. Back here, I think more smithing stones. Yep. So this is our giant. that we need to bust open that statue. I'm going to take these guys out. Get the giant to come over here. Come on. And he'll bust open that statue for us. Hey, buddy. Come here. And this is why I didn't want to rest before, because if he rested and then lure this giant over, then that other large guy that we killed is going to respawn himself. We want him to be gone, along with all of the other enemies in that area that we worked so hard to kill. So lure him over to this statue. Have him stomp on it. And then we're going to kill him. There we go. He busted it open for us. Same routine as before with these guys. Oh, we got the bleed on him. Nice. As I've said before, bleed damage in this game is like finding a $50 bill underneath your couch. It's just that extra little bit that you weren't expecting, but then when it happens, it's quite nice. 5 tier 1 stones and 1 tier 2 stone. So we're going to go right back over to where we just were. This is where the giant was originally. And that is the fog gate to the boss. We're not going to fight him just yet. There's 1 or 2 more things we got to do in here. Going to unlock this site of grace. Going to advance the time to morning. And level up. Let's see, really only enough for 1 level. I'll put this one into endurance. And do we have enough to increase our flask? We need 2 golden seeds. We do not have enough. We're about to change that though. We're about to get another gold seed, so we can upgrade our flask right before the boss fight. So you see right in front of us, we have a scarab for an Ash of War. This is somewhat of a trap because he lures us into some enemies. This gets us the Stormcaller. So these jars, you know, Alexander, our friend the jar. Alexander is friendly. These jars are not friendly. You can even try not attacking them. They're still gonna be aggressive and attack you. We got this giant jar who hits very hard, but he is not a friendly, sadly, and meets his gory demise. Some more jars. Look at that. That was pretty insane. Cracked pot. There's another one back here. 2 of them in total. I'm gonna top off my health here. So this takes us back up. I'm gonna mention there is an elevator that takes us back down to the site of grace. This is that elevator. So I just used a heal. Why not get my heal back right now? And there's just a little bit more of exploration we got to do here. And then we are done with Stormveil Castle, guys. I told you this is going to be a bit of a longer episode, but I wanted to make sure that this was thorough. I wanted to make sure that we got everything that we can get in this place. And do this level justice. Really, this level is so well designed. I wanted to really showcase the whole thing and make sure that when you guys go through here, you get pretty much everything that you can get. So right there, that's a ledge you can actually jump to. And this is a very well hidden area. You notice we kind of had to go back there and do some parkour around some pretty thin ledges. This is an area that I actually missed my first time through the castle because it is very tucked away and very well hidden. Over here, there's going to be probably the worst combination of enemies possible. A strong shield and sword guy right next to an Eagle of Doom. Oh, but my special follow-up attack actually got them both in one hit. That was pretty much perfect. So we got what we needed over there. Climb back up these sandbags. You can jump over the wall. And this is one of those areas of the level where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so well hidden, but it's a decent chunk of level that you'd miss if you didn't know about it. So you got 3 smithing stone 2s over here. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid get. So what tipped me off my first time was because you can see, you know, that's where we just were before down there. That's where we fight the jars. You can see that item up there. And I was wondering for the longest, I'm like, how do you get up to that item? I was looking for probably a couple hours and I couldn't find it. And finally someone, I was streaming this, finally someone in the chat directed me to that ledge you can jump on. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so well hidden, but brilliant in my opinion. Really, it's really impressive. I really do enjoy how they tuck stuff away and really rewards you for exploration, which I think is pretty top notch. All right, these guys are pretty easy to dispatch. One-shotting all of them. Got the Manor Tower shield. And this is a developer note. Surely what you seek is somewhere close by. Got a smithing stone 3. It's our second one to pick up. So where we want to go next. It's down here. And this item is really hard to pick up. It's actually a rune tier 5, but you do have to jump up on this wall, which you have to be very careful because you don't want to overshoot your jump and jump off the ledge. You just want to barely nudge your control stick forward so you can land on top of that wall and grab that item. It's a golden rune tier 5, worth it in my opinion for the risk. Got some rainbow stones. And so this is our shortcut. Remember that door that was locked right here by the side of Grace? Well, that's how you get through there. That's this door. And that's another thing that was like puzzling. I was like, there's this door that's locked and I can't figure out where the other side of it is, and it was driving me nuts. But very cool. Very cool. So this entire section of level is basically hidden behind a tiny ledge that you can jump on. Got some Marteria leaves. There's a few bats around here. You see that other one hanging out. There's one more. Okay. Oddly enough, I did find barrels hanging in the air. I did find this spot on my playthrough because from up there, you can actually drop down and that fall doesn't kill you. And that is like, you know, we made our way through that field. This is where that statue was that you needed the giant troll to bust open for the smithing stones. And then up here, you could turn, here's your side of Grace. You could turn and go to that wall. And there was an item hanging on a corpse and there's that corpse and you can make that fall and get down here and get this item, which I did get. But when you drop from there, you miss everything that was up there. You can't get back up there. But you can drop down here and explore this area down here. And there's a lot of stuff down here. A lot of stuff. Up to and including rats. I think there's a big mama rat down here too. There she is. There's the big mama rat. And there is a scarab for an Ash of War. So I think if we jump over here, And there it is. Get the Rancor call. There's an item over here. Poison Bloom. And so once you drop, you go around here. I think I'm going in circles. There we go. Once you drop down here, you're going to fight a mini boss. Pop your Physic Flask. This boss is tough. Has a nasty grab attack, has some AoEs, is very large, hits really hard. It is worth the fight. It is worth the challenge. If you remember, we unlocked that shortcut door right by that side of Grace, so we can, you know, get right back down here just by going through that door and coming down here if you need to take a couple of attempts on this. Bloodhound's Finesse works very well. Let's get it on. So this is known as an ulcerating tree spirit. I'm very surprised that it doesn't have its own dedicated life bar and like its own boss music. This is an enemy that you're gonna see a few times during the playthrough, and sometimes it is a proper boss. In this case, it's not, but it is a very tough enemy to kill. I just got a stagger on it, so you see the glow. Oh no 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 no! Give me the stagger! Oh, I missed the riposte. Oh well. So he's about to AoE, and I was too close to him. Gonna heal up. He has a grab attack with his mouth. I don't know if I'll get him to do it, but there it is. Or no, that's not it. But he kind of pulls his head back, and then that's your cue that he's about to try to grab you. But yeah, he does have a lot of HP. He does hit very hard. For killing him, you get a golden seed. So I told you we were about to get another golden seed. So there's our second golden seed, so we can actually upgrade our flask now. And as you can see, there's a lot of loot down here. Got a smoldering butterfly, stone sword key, throwing daggers. I mean, the stone sword key alone makes it worth. The stone sword key and the golden seed alone make it worth it. And we got the Prince of Death's Pustule, which is actually a talisman. There's a couple points in the game where I'm probably going to equip this. What it does is it raises your vitality, but vitality governs resistance to the effects of death. There is an instant death status effect that can build up. Certain enemies attack you, and it'll build up the sudden death effect. And that helps you be resistant to that. So there's a couple spots where I will perhaps equip that talisman. This is the longest ladder in the world. Somebody cue the Snake Eater music. Would be very appropriate for this segment, because by golly, look at this freaking ladder. Still going. Really, you don't need to climb this ladder, because it takes you to a place. There's no item up here. And really just takes you to a spot that you've already been. You can drop down here. That's where we used our stone sword key. And we're back here. So actually where we want to be is over here in the secluded cell, because that's where the boss fight is. But the boss fight is going to have to wait until the next episode. I'm not going to fight him right now. This episode has already gone on too long. And after we fight the boss, there's a couple other things around here that we have to do, so I'm going to cover all that in the next episode. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you found this episode very helpful. I hope you enjoyed this level, man. This level is so good. And as I said, very well designed, very rewarding for those of you who like to explore. Lots of loot, engaging combat, whole 9 yards. It has it all. I'm a fan. Hope you're a fan too. Hope you're a fan of Elden Ring. Hope you're really having a blast in your playthrough. So anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.